mentally tired of fighting with yourself about money? No need, no need. We'll do it for you. I'm your host, Arka, and welcome to our segment, Rich or Regret, where we find out if your next financial decision will make you rich or make you regret it. And for today, we have the topic of cities that are growing and transport options expand as well. So choosing between owning a car and using public transport, or maybe ride sharing, this is increasingly important because getting to work, you gotta rush, you gotta be there on time. And each choice has its own benefits and challenges, from cost, flexibility to environmental and lifestyle impacts. So in this episode, our debaters here will delve into whether car ownership offers more independence or if public transport and ride sharing are more practical, cost-effective, and sustainable. So first up, we have Pavi, who supports the use of public transport. I believe you are an avid MRT user yourself.
Yes.
And ride-sharing services. So she
Yes.
thinks that these options offer a more affordable, environmentally friendly, and hassle-free way to navigate Malaysia's cities. So Pavi, can you tell us why you think Malaysians should use public transport more?
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Paitra and thank you, Arka.
We know who you are, girl.
Just a quick introduction once again.
Talk about why you think
Okay.
transport is better.
Okay, so personal talk, someone like me, I hate going to work facing the traffic. So, and definitely I choose public transport because it's more practical and sustainable choice. And obviously it's cost saving as well because now we have the monthly pass, about 50 ringgit.
Oh, yes. The
Yeah,
50.
where you can use LRT, MRT, KTM. Thanks to my colleagues, they actually introduced this to me and I'm saving a lot. Whereby when it comes to driving to work, you need to be worried about the parking, toll, petrol, and all that stuff. So definitely taking the public transport is a practical choice.
All right. The next up is one who advocates for the benefits of owning a personal vehicle. He himself believes that having a car often offers unparalleled freedom, flexibility, and convenience. You can go anytime you want. So one, can you share why you think owning a car is the better option?
Definitely, Arka. Definitely owning your own car, that freedom that you have is the most invaluable thing that you can have right now. Because I feel that the convenience of having that freedom, having a car, especially here in Malaysia, especially in the cities that we live in, it means avoiding the limitations of public transport schedules, routes, especially areas where it can be less reliable at times.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's just say, when you drive a car, you set your own time, you set your own boundaries. But when it comes to public transport, you do not have that control. You don't know when it's going to break down on you. You don't know when it's going to be half an hour late. So you will not be
when it comes to cars.
Oh, the debate hasn't started yet, guys.
When it comes
Chill
to
out, chill
cars,
out.
we get to control that.
Control what?
Alright.
The traffic?
Okay.
The
It's getting
breakdown?
heated already, and we haven't even started.
My last point, a car can offer security, independence, and
Last
long
point, we
term.
haven't even started again,
Well,
guys.
as well as our fellow workers for the public transport.
Oh, okay.
Let's actually see who is the better debater here. Let's keep it civil. Once again, civil, huh? And
Okay.
may the best debater win. Now, on to my first question. Finally, we're starting the debate. How do government policies, right, and incentives affect the convenience and affordability of owning a car versus relying on public transport and ride sharing? Let's start off with Poppy.
Okay, government policies in Malaysia are increasingly favoring public transport ride sharing for good reasons. Even on this budget, this latest budget 2024, they
Yes.
have allocated a certain amount to prioritize our experience going and traveling to work or whatsoever. And this projects like MRT, LRT, upcoming BRT system is a clear sign that they want to improve public transport infrastructure. And these projects are also designed to provide a wider coverage and more reliable, efficient travel options, not only for people who has a car and choose to who has a car and choose to travel by transport, but it's for everyone. You get what I mean? People who don't even have a car, for an example. So it is for everyone. Okay. So by investing in these systems, the government is directly making public transport a more viable alternative for people who don't want to have financial commitment for the cars. For example, like anyone, maybe the younger generations. Okay, maybe the younger generations who don't have a car yet. And so I think this would be a good idea for the younger generation. Yeah.
So one, do you feel like the government policies and incentives hold back owning a car or like car owners?
No, I don't think so, because right now, yeah, sure, government is spending a little bit on public infrastructure, public transportation, but they are also spending. These policies are also incentivizing and also giving a lot more to that of car ownerships. All right, it's making it more accessible and appealing right now, because we see a lot of initiatives like tax exemptions on locally manufactured vehicles like Produa, Proton,
Also
yeah,
EVs.
and especially EVs. That's my next point, which is that of huge rebates on buying electric vehicles right now. And it makes the cars more affordable, especially for young families, younger generation people, individuals starting out. Back then, when I had to first buy a car, you wouldn't be able to get a monthly payment of like more than or less than 500 bucks. All right, but nowadays people are getting like Axias, Myvis for less than 500 ringgit. I'm like, how are you getting that?
500 ringgit a month, right?
Yes, of course, lah.
Okay,
500,
alright.
No, the
500
thing is,
ringgit a month.
anybody can get a car. I'm not saying we can't get a car, but what is a practical approach for us to have a proper traveling, like ease when you want to travel in peace and style?
Oh, style. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a big train coming to pick me up. Style, with hundreds of other people.
But then you are still limited to the locations
don't
of where
believe in
the train stops, where you can just go with your car to the exact doorstep where you need to be.
It can be the same issue having a car. I mean, traveling by a car if there's a massive jam,
Of course,
whereby
but
the
then
train
it
is
brings me
always
to
on the
my.
go. You can be stand still.
We are living in a world where we continually improve and expand, especially our roads and highways. When I moved back to Malaysia in 2012, there were so limited highways. But now, not only 10 years later, we have so many highways, so many roads, and government still, they
Yet we are still
continually
late to work.
invest. They still invest in road quality, traffic. There's not going to be much traffic during the day, of course. Of course, during peak hour times in the morning, of course, that is a different story. But there are still, the question is about government policies and how they invest the money. And in terms of long term, I think it will help and benefit those who are owning a car to get where they need to get. And it helps them in the long run because now it's more affordable for them. And there's a lot of financial burdens that are eased because of the government policies and exemptions that they give towards owning a vehicle right now. It's more accessible right now than compared to previously. So I think government policy, it helps not only the younger generation, but it helps people in the long run. The whole of the Malaysia, it helps.
Now, government policies aside, what about advancements in a public transport infrastructure or even ride-sharing services that could potentially shift the balance in Malaysia? Pavi, how about you take this first?
Okay, so advancement in public transport infrastructure and ride sharing are actually changing the game in Malaysia, making them a more convenient and accessible choice for many people. For example, the ongoing expansion of MRT and LRT lines, as well as the introduction of the new BRT systems. These projects aim to connect more suburban areas to city centers, okay? And also reducing travel time and easing the congestion. And also this is actually helping our tourism industry as well, because when we
I heard complaints about the
but it's getting better. That's why we have all these allocations divided, during the budget. But it's getting better because back then there were only like a few trains we can catch in 2-3 minutes.
and
But now,
mostly in KL.
yeah, mostly in KL. But now, it's the schedules have changed more constantly. Like every 5 minutes there are trains
during peak hours.
during
yes.
peak hours there are trains available. And also this is about the public transport and ride sharing, also advancing quickly with apps that now offer a range of options where carpooling to short distance scooters. So this means people can choose what best fit travel needs and budget.
So, do you agree that the new infrastructure outperforms owning a car?
No.
Oh.
It definitely does not outperform owning a car because, okay, yeah, sure, advancement in public transport and their, ride sharing, it's impressive, yeah. But there are still limitations. That's the key word, limitations to the convenience that owning a car has, okay? Public transport, like you mentioned, MRT, LRT and all that. Within the city, of course, great. But what about outside in suburban areas? We don't have that stuff all the way out. Yeah, the line is expanding for all the MRTs and LRTs, but how long is it going to take? Up to now, the MRT or the LRT 3, the phase 3 LRT, still have no news when it's going to start. So many areas outside of the city centers, they still lack that proper connectivity. And public transport may not always cover the routes that you want, that aligns to everyone's needs. We need to think not of just the people living in the city only. Of course, yeah, people living in the city, they get access to public transport and all that. But then those who are living outside, they don't. So they are forced to own a car, which is more convenient, more safer for them, which brings me to my next point. When it comes to safety, this one is what takes the cake, I say. Because these public transportations, these ride sharing, we've heard all the news. There's been so many news, especially recently, about viral incidents where the ride-sharing driver has been accused of sexual harassment.
You're not safe with your own car.
No. You are safe because you are driving your own car.
You can be a safe driver, but you can't depend the safety on other people on road.
You won't be attacked in the car while you're driving.
And there was a case recently where a girl was driving and she was waiting at the traffic light. A dude, he came right in front of the car and he was asking for money. And then when she tried to honk and ask him to move, he pretended like he fell in front of the car and made a big issue. So how can you say...
So you're saying it's not guaranteed either way?
The safety, yes, it's on us. Wherever we go, the safety is on us. So whether I'm traveling by train, it's on me. Whether you're going by car, it's also on you.
But would you argue that...
We have more control. We have more control. The safety, we have more control over it. In our own vehicle...
Okay, what kind of control? You pacify me.
Okay, I will pacify you. If you are riding a public transport, all right, LRT, for example, if there's something happens inside the LRT, can you automatically stop it? Can you say, oh, please stop LRT, I need to get out now. It's going to be dangerous for me to continue. You cannot. You have to wait for the
next... We have emergency buttons.
Yeah, emergency buttons, sure. But have you ever used one? Never.
There's never been a need for one though.
Exactly.
But there has been cases where things have happened inside the LRT or the public transport. All right? But with your own car...
But can you stop an accident?
You can avoid it. Defensive driving.
You can only avoid it, but you can't stop it. So there is uncertainty.
So it's easier to avoid with our own car. So it's easier to avoid if we have the control over it. We can avoid
Malaysia
the accident.
has the highest rates when it comes to accidents.
Okay.
I don't want to go there yet.
I don't either. Okay, let's put a pin on this question. All right, will we come back later? We'll see. Let you guys calm down first. Let's talk about flexibility, all right, of travel. Oh, one's already ready.
Okay,
here we go. So now, between car ownership, ride sharing, and using public transportation, which one is like the best in terms of your ranking one?
I'm not even going to go there when it
Okay.
comes to which one has the better flexibility. Because when it comes to flexibility, owning a car is at the top. The level of freedom that you have, okay, it's hard to match that. You can go wherever you want, whenever you want, and whatever time you want. It's up to you, okay? You're not tied to any schedules. You're not tied to different routes. You know, you can take whatever route you want. You want to go to a toll route, save up some time, go toll route. You want to go take the scenic route, go. You know, save a little bit of money on toll. Okay, it's up to you. You can choose. Okay, you can leave, like I said, whenever you want. You can take the detours, and it's especially helpful here in Malaysia, where public transport coverage can only be limited to certain places, and you can't have them outside of urban areas. So if you live in a suburban neighborhood, you know, you're gonna have to go take a taxi to the train station to your place, and from your place, the station to the place that you want to go. It's a hassle. It's a hassle going up and down, all these things. Flexibility, it also means being able to manage your own time, all right? Like running errands, picking up groceries, whatever you need to do, whatever you need to get done, you know, you can manage your own time, which is key right now because we don't have a lot of time to waste. Sometimes these public transportation, you miss that first train, you're gonna have to wait another 5 minutes, or that's during peak hours. During non-peak hours, the train comes maybe 10, maybe 30 minutes later. I don't know. It really depends on the schedule. So if you're already running late for work, you're gonna be running late. If you miss that first train, you're gonna be even later because you're limited to that flexibility. All right. And yeah, ride sharing, Grab, whatever it is, they aim to provide that flexibility, but they can't always offer the same reliability, especially during peak hours or less populated, in less populated areas. How long have you had to wait for a ride sharing app? For the driver to accept? You have to wait for them to accept you to get in the car and everything. So there's no flexibility there. You are limited in that choice.
Do you feel like you don't have enough flexibility?
I think flexibility is just not about driving wherever you want. I think for one, having a car is like he wants to be in his own space and get things done.
Little cocoon of
Yeah,
safety.
yeah, he wants that. But we can also have flexibility with public transport and ride sharing because there's no need to worry about parking. Maybe you're just going to spend another 5 minutes to wait for another train. You're going to spend the same 5 minutes getting a parking. What if you don't have a parking? That's even worse.
Also,
And
one less thing to pay for. I
yes,
guess.
correct, exactly. And also finding a petrol station. And also the worst thing that we usually face it every day. Let's not talk about peak hours. Lately, wherever we go, even on weekends, there's terrible jam every day. So by traveling by the public transport or ride sharing, I think I can enjoy my ride while reading or working and doing whatever I like in between.
Interesting. Let's move on to the next question. I feel like we're approaching a stalemate. Everything's civil once again. Juan, don't make those faces. Now, how do lifestyle factors such as family size or personal mobility needs influence the choice between owning a car and using public transport or even ride sharing? Juan, how about you take it away? You seem excited about this question.
Okay, when it comes to owning your own car, these lifestyle factors are the most important thing as well. Family size, personal mobility, like you mentioned, it's the more practical choice to have a car because for families, especially larger ones, having a car offers them, unmatched convenience and comfort. It's not just me in the car, it's the rest of my family in it.
And
If you
storage.
a storage space as well because you've got a boot, you go do your groceries, it's there, you can put it in the boot. Imagine carrying all those groceries in a public transport or LRT. It's so inconvenient to you. I mean, you got to think about that kind of stuff, because when you can have that flexibility of putting everything in your boot, you don't have to worry about the space. You don't have to, when you're traveling with children, especially with children, they can go running here, running there, crying, oh, why is it so hot? Oh, why is it so full? Why is the train so late? That peace of mind is just amazing, You just put them in your car and that's it. You get there to your destination, that's it. You don't have to worry about all these kind of things. And okay, we have to talk about specific mobility needs, okay? Elderly, disabled. Yeah, sure, public transportation have that access, but is it easily accessible? Yeah, they have the facilities, but is it easily accessible in terms of, people with wheelchairs trying to get to the elevator is already so difficult because sometimes the elevators are not working at these public transport depots. Sometimes the access to the elevator is not even available because we've got all these motorcycles parked in the way or whatever it is. The pavements, the infrastructure, not as to par, not great as of now. So it's very difficult for those who are elderly, disabled, those disabilities, or those who require those specific mobility needs to get into public transportation right now. Whereas if you have a car, yeah, put the wheelchair in the back, put them in the seat of the car, let's go. That's it, right? But in short, okay, for those with families and unique mobility requirements or busy schedules, owning a car can provide you the personalized convenience and flexibility that other modes of transportation cannot. All right? It's so much more convenient, it's so much more flexible, it's so much more easier, peace of mind. They're done, said it. You're sure you're gonna get stuck in a jam like Pavi said, but there are alternative ways, routes. You can detour, you can go for the toll roads to avoid all these unnecessary jams. You're not limited to one direction, one direction, okay? But, RIP Liam Payne, okay? But other than that, you are not limited, okay? You got options to travel around here and there to avoid the jam. So you're not stuck. Sure, with public transport, you're stuck, whether you like it or not, going in that one direction because there's only that one possible way to go.
Is it? Do you agree that the public transport, there's only one route, you can't move about, it's not flexible in that matter? Like it cannot accommodate to people with different lifestyles?
No, now you can move everywhere with public transport. For example, like even from here we can go to what is that place that I always go to, Pasar Seni. So there are ways to move. Like there's just not one way out and one way in.
You say like you can interchange.
Yeah, you can interchange. And all right, fine. Family wise, I think definitely we need a car, but I think I'm going to talk more about the personal mobility needs. For instance, like single professionals, right? Like us. I don't think so it's a necessity. Yes, we want a car, but I'm just saying that ride sharings or public transport can be better options. All right. Just in case, like if you're running late to work, you can avoid this stress, you can avoid this jam and all that. And also it's cost saving. Like you only have to worry about allocating 50 ringgit aside, the monthly pass. And so this actually affects the lifetime factors like cost saving and how are you going to work mentally. So maybe for personal mobility needs, I think the best choice is definitely traveling by public transport.
We've been talking about work, strictly work, but do we really just travel for work? What about concerts? What about parties? Which is the better option?
The better option is definitely public transport because, okay, you know why? Let me give you two incidents. One, Thaipusam.
Okay.
It was already advised by the government this year itself that take public transport because if you're going to go by car, it's going to get worse. You know why? There's so many people and the chariot will be moving, no parking and standstill traffic, whereby if you're choosing the public transport, it was I think they opened it 24 hours on that particular,
yes.
Because it's a special day. And I don't think so there's any limitations. You can still travel in freedom just in case one comes up with the limitations and stuff like that.
Okay, you know what the limitation was?
What?
Have you ever tried to leave Bukit Jalil after a concert? During that one LRT station.
Do you know how terrible it is to leave your spot? When I went for A.R. Rahman concert, it took us 2 hours to actually get to that road where it's linked to Astro, to get out to go to Cheras. It took 2 hours.
What's more comfortable? Stuck in a jam of a sea of people or stuck in a jam in a nice air-conditioned car?
I feel like we're at a stalemate. Both seem awful, okay? None of them seem appealing to me. So let's wrap it up here. It seems that both our debaters, once again, are at a stalemate, but they both made pretty solid points in my opinion. So let's have a quick recap, all right? So We have Pavi here who feels that public transport is the better option. It's more cost effective, and you also feel that government policies in Malaysia are supporting public transport and ride sharing.
Yeah.
There's also the matter that there are subsidies for public transport, including discounts for students
Yes.
and seniors, low-income users. So it is giving them the incentive of being more accessible.
Yeah.
There's also improvements in public transport infrastructure and ride-sharing options that you brought up that are making travel easier and more accessible. So with more flexible work and living arrangements, and also like the matter of, going to concerts, public transport and ride sharing provide more affordable choices for various lifestyles. But one, on the other hand, feels that cars are the way to go. Government policies and incentives make car ownership more accessible and attractive, especially for EVs now. And public transport and ride sharing still have limitations in convenience compared to owning your own car, having that comfortability, having your own space on the road. Now, for those living outside city centers or in areas with limited transport options, having a car is essential, in one's opinion, for the convenience and mobility. Also, he thinks that owning a car provides unmatched freedom. Like he said, you can take the toll route, you can take the road to the skyline, you can go to the beach, whichever way you want to go. Taking a car does not tie you down to schedules or routes. So, who do you think won this one? You decide. Let us know in our comments. And follow us on our social media channels at KleverStock.my. Let us know who was the better debater here. And don't forget to visit www.KleverStock.live to catch our live sessions from Monday to Friday, where we cover everything finance. So drive safely or ride the train safely. Bye.
KleverStock, the ultimate financial insight for everyone.